Hey neighbors, tax season is almost here. And did you know if your household earned less than $84,000 in 2025, you qualify to file your taxes at no cost through United Way's Volunteer Income Tax Assistance, or VITA program. Maximize your refunds and save on filing fees. Get free tax prep from United Way and keep more of what you earn. Visit UnitedWayFileFree.com to learn more. Today on CityCast Nashville, we are celebrating St. Patrick's Day this weekend. But what's this holiday actually about? We are joined by Connor Doolan, president of Irish Network Nashville, who organizes our annual St. Paddy's Day parade in 5 Points. He tells us who pulls the best Guinness in town, where to get involved in Gaelic sports and step dancing, and why the way we celebrate here in Nashville might actually be more American than Irish. And hey, after the interview, our executive producer, Whitney Pasterek, will be joining us for a conversation sponsored by Cheekwit about their upcoming exhibit, Interventions. Stick around to learn more. It's Thursday, March 12th. I'm your host, Marie Cecile Anderson, and this is what Nashville's talking about. We are just days away from St. Patrick's Day. Connor, I have to ask you, do we still pinch people for not wearing green?
Well, Americans do.
Yeah. Why is that?
I have no idea. It's not a thing back home.
This was like the clearest memory in childhood. It was just, if you didn't wear green, you would get pinched. And I would always forget it was St. Patrick's Day and I'd always get pinched in school.
I think I've had one or two people do that to me over here and I have no idea.
You're like, why? What are you doing? Exactly. We don't do that there. Interesting. Yeah, but you are wearing green right now during this interview. So
I am. It's one of my few clean shirts.
All right. Well, can you tell us a moment from your early days here in Nashville that made you feel this city needs more Irish community and connection?
I had been previously living in New York City, and obviously there's an Irish angle to everything. You know, the likes of Boston, New York, Philly, Chicago. There's a strong Irish presence throughout the year. Moved down here, no parade. There's, there are some groups, but they didn't know each other probably as well. So I come from doing a lot of networking, being in the Irish Network, New York City, Irish county associations, and so on and so on. So there's nothing like that previously down here. So I basically got a group of people together to create Irish Network Nashville. It's like an Irish government initiative. It's open to everybody, and we do mostly monthly events. And then also in the first couple of months, I did say, well, why don't we just try and have a small parade in a neighborhood somewhere in Nashville. And I spoke to the right people that work for Metro and the city. We went with 5 Points.
So wait, you're the reason why we have the St. Patrick's Day parade here in Nashville?
Well, I don't want to say that it's me.
What was it like when you first had the parade? How many people came out? Were people pinching people?
Definitely no pinching.
Okay.
Probably pinching ourselves that it was actually happening. Because we kind of really turned it around in about 8 weeks, and we just got everyone out, all of the Irish groups for a start, and then anyone else really that wanted to march. I think we had mayoral candidates maybe the first time, or any person that was going for elections. That everyone was welcome. It was just marching the first year, no vehicles or anything like that. But what we did was put together a program of live music. Once the parade was over, I partnered with a handful of the establishments right there on 5 Points so that there would be music immediately until the early evening. And I figured that would be enough. And if you document it and photograph it and for marketing purposes, that people would buy in. And it's just grown from there.
The St. Patrick's Day parade is this weekend. Can you tell us what to expect?
We have all of the Irish music and dancing groups, step dancing. They'll be organizing performances at Boomba's between 11 and 1. So it's like our kids zone up there at Boomba's. And Claire is also organising a traditional music session at Boston Commons at 2 o'clock. We've got groups coming from Ireland, people running for election, Nashville, Fire, Pipes and Drums, MNPD, the Honour Guard, the step up that the Irish made when they came to America, they started off as hard labor, like hard labor. And then they may have joined the police and the fire in their city, or it might have been their sons. And that was the step, a step up on the ladder. That's where that tradition comes from, that Irish tradition of service, police, fire, military, and so on, and politics.
And then is it all ages?
Oh, of course, yes. This is very family friendly. The parade is obviously open to everybody. And then there's live music in Boston Commons and Drifters and Boom Bars. And we've also got the parking lot in that area, which is now the Irish Village. There'll be a small stage, and we'll have 3 live music acts in there, as well as vendors. So that's new. Josh O'Keefe is starting off on the Irish Village. Really fantastic folk singer.
He's going to be at the Country Music Hall of Fame the next day, also doing a family-friendly event.
He's also doing the Opry that evening on the 14th. He's playing 2 songs. So
whoa, okay.
Yes, Opry debut.
That's amazing. Okay, well, this is so cool. This sounds like, actually, the parade sounds like a Tomato Fest of Ireland in 5 points, which is really great with the vendors and things. So come on out. We're going to put information about this in our show notes today. I'd like to move on and talk more about, the Irish community here in Nashville. Is there anything particular about Nashville that reminds you of Ireland?
I think the people, like the actual local people, I find they have very similar ways.
Southern hospitality?
Yeah. I think that's a big part of it. I think they really look after people down here. I mean, country music is Irish music. It comes from folk music, and the people that came here were Scottish and Irish, and that comes from that tradition of an Appalachia. So I just think that the way of life is quite similar.
Connor, what is the actual story of St. Patrick's Day?
St. Patrick wasn't Irish. St. Patrick came to Ireland as a child. The story goes, his story, as he tells it, that he was taken captive and that he was brought to Ireland. So slavery would have existed in those times, in Gaelic times and in Viking times, Roman times. So he would have been brought to Ireland, and he would have been basically working on the land.
Where was he from?
So there's two candidates for where he might be from. He might be some part of Wales, which is very close in the west of Britain, or he might be from the west of Scotland. It's more likely Wales, because there is a town that has a Roman name that is very similar to the town that he's said to be from. His parents would have come from Gaul, which is now France, and his father would have been working as a Roman civil servant, and he had some role in the church as well. He did study on the continent, European continent, and then he came back to Ireland, and he managed to successfully convert the majority of people on the island of Ireland to Christianity. He certainly was not the first Christian missionary to the island of Ireland, but he was the one that was most successful. Once he got the, trust, or he was able to convince the chieftains of the various tribes in Ireland that this was the way to go. So monasteries became the centres of power in Ireland after that. And if you go to Ireland on any tour, I'm sure you're going to come across places like Glendalough, places like Iona. It's not in Scotland, but it was an Irish monastery. His feast day then it's actually in Lent, obviously. St. Patrick's Day, and the way we know it today, again, is actually an American invention, or an Irish-American invention, so that this celebration by Irish immigrants in cities like Boston and Savannah, New York, places like that's where the big kind of military style parade tradition comes from. It's not from Ireland, and then that kind of gets exported back to Ireland in a way. So the diaspora, so many people emigrate that St. Patrick's Day becomes this big phenomenon that it is. But it's not from our, like, the island of Ireland. It's much more from marching down Fifth Avenue.
Well, you mentioned feast day. So were those the roots of the celebration in Ireland before it got Americanized?
Yeah. So the feast day falls on the date of St. Patrick's death. His name in Irish would be Pádraig, and in Irish it would be La Féile Pádraig. So Féile is festival, feast day.
Do you feel like your celebration has been totally gentrified by non-Irish who just like to binge drink?
I guess there's an element of that over here. It's an excuse to go out socializing. It does fall in your spring break which probably adds fuel to the fire in places like that where college students are going. It also falls like in kind of basketball season, right? College basketball. So it's like people are out partying anyway. It's a pretty good excuse,
Right.
to go out.
Who pulls the best pint of Guinness in Nashville?
Well, see, that's difficult for me to say
Are you going to get in trouble?
because I could get in trouble.
Maybe a couple different places, and then we can decide for ourselves.
Well, you could go to the Lost Paddy, you could go to McNamara's, and you could go to Locust in 12 South with our Grand Marshal Trevor Morn.
Oh, wow.
Is the Michelin star chef who is from Dublin, and he has Guinness at the restaurant. You could go to Fog Street in the Gulch.
Is green beer actually a thing, or did we just make that up, like the pinching here in America?
Yes.
Ah, yes.
Yes, made in America.
I mean, I was in Chicago once for the St. Patrick's Day parade there, where the river, they did dye it green.
Yeah.
And all the beer in the city was green as well. And wow, I had a good time, I will say.
You know, maybe one day we'll do that here. We'll
the Cumberland? It's already an oozy green.
From brown to green.
From brown to green.
It'd be like Dubai chocolate.
It would be. Patchy.
Yeah.
My favorite place in Nashville to take friends from out of town is the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum. It makes me feel so proud to be able to show off our city's country music roots. But y'all, it's not just a tourist attraction. Did you know that local kids always visit free at the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum? Kids age 18 and under who are residents of Davidson and bordering counties, including Cheatham, Robertson, Rutherford, Sumner, Williamson, and Wilson, can take advantage of all the engaging and educational activities the museum has to offer this spring at no cost. Plus, they can bring 2 accompanying adults who get 25% off admission. I love the museum's Taylor Swift Education Center. They've got music, dance, art programs, and on Fridays this month, you can check out Irish step dancing, a musical instrument petting zoo, and plenty of other fun activities. Learn more and plan your visit at countrymusichofoffame.org/local-kids. Hey, did y'all miss the sold-out world premiere of Dolly Parton's Threads, My Songs in Symphony last year? Well, do I have great news for you. You have another chance to see it. March 19th through the 21st, this incredible concert returns to the Skirmerhorn Symphony Center, where the Nashville Symphony and guest vocalists will bring Dolly's biggest hits to life. We're talking Jolene, Coat of Many Colors, I Will Always Love You, all backed by a full orchestra. And Dolly herself will be there too on the big screen throughout the show, sharing the stories behind the songs that shaped her life and career. It's a stunning multimedia celebration of a living Tennessee legend. And let me tell you, you do not want to miss it this time. Dolly Parton's Threads, My Songs in Symphony with the Nashville Symphony. March 19th through the 21st at Skirmerhorn. Get tickets now at nashvillesymphony.org.
Hi, I'm David Plotz. I'm the CEO of CityCast, a podcast network that includes this show you're listening to, and also 12 other CityCasts in 12 other cities. And each one knows their city as well as your local team knows yours. So isn't it time we connected them? Don't you want to know how they're tackling their bike lane problems and housing challenges and sidewalk dog poop crises? That's why I'm hosting a new podcast called Your City Could Be Better. Because it could be. Every week, I'll chat with a different host in our CityCast network about what their cities are doing right and wrong, the weird things they're trying, and the surprising successes, so that we can all learn how to make our cities a little bit better. Listen to Your City Could Be Better on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.
Well, as you mentioned before, we do have some really great Irish cultural groups in town. We've got a huge Irish step dancing scene. The Scott Ellis School is right here in my neighborhood of East Nashville. Can anyone sign up to take classes there?
Wendy Windsor runs the Scott Ellis School of Irish Dance, and she, I don't know if it's adults, I think it's still children. And then Claire Shirey also has the Middle Tennessee School of Irish Music and Dance. And I don't think they offer adult classes as of yet.
I had a complete obsession with river dance as a child and did take a couple step dancing classes. But you're saying there's no way to brush up on my stepping skills as a grown-up?
So Wendy Windsor often hosts every couple of months a Ceilidh, which means like a meeting of Irish music and dance.
Oh.
And that is quite often for adults to come along and learn. But that is set dancing, which is kind of where square dancing, barn dancing comes from. So she does hold that, and she's planning on holding one on March 21st, I think.
Wow, well, look at that. We have got a lot of our Southern culture from Ireland. Okay, but what about sports? The Nashville Gaelic Athletic Club plays Gaelic football and hurling. But what are those?
Gaelic football is like a cross between soccer and rugby and Australian rules football. Hurling is a field hockey game. It's one of the oldest games in the world.
Does anything actually get hurled?
Yeah, well, I suppose the ball gets hurled.
Okay.
As far as I know, that's always been the name of the stick in English, like a hurley stick. Yeah, it's in our mythology. It's in our medieval mythology about one of the characters. Cú Chulainn is his name, so that translates as Cú Chulainn, which is the Hound of Cullen. And he had to take the place of a wolfhound because he had killed a local chieftain's wolfhound with the ball. And then he goes on to be our greatest mythological character.
Do you have to be Irish to get involved with the athletic club?
No. I would say only a quarter of the club is probably Irish or Irish born. So we've had some fantastic people join the club who've never played before, which is always quite amazing to see. People really take it and they become both either good at one of them in particular or actually both, which is quite the sight to see. So the March is kind of like has always been traditionally for the club like a really good recruiting time because interest peaks and kind of all things Irish this time, and they've got a good relationship with East Nashville Beer Works and a few other places. And that's quite often where you pick up a handful of new recruits, which is kind of, keeps the club fresh. They'll be there on parade day, but they'll also be at East Nashville Beer Works. And then they usually follow that up with another date to get, like if you were interested on the day, come out like in another week or two and we'll do another intro.
Where do y'all play? Where do you train? Where do you play?
We use a couple of different places, Centennial, predominantly Dudley Park, which is actually next to St. Patrick's on 2nd Avenue, St. Patrick's Catholic Church. In the quieter parts of the year, we use Madison Community Centre for like our little intra-club league. But I guess the fun thing we do is we go to different cities and we also have teams come visit us. A couple of weeks ago, we were in Tampa for a seven-a-side hurling tournament, which we won our division.
Humble brag. So it's a real big community building. Yeah,
it was interesting. It's different to being in a New York or Boston. Like they have very strong leagues due to the high volume of Irish immigrants. Whereas here, you've got historically Irish immigrants, but it's gone way back further. And you don't have that second wave like in the 1920s or the 1950s or the 1980s. You don't have that down here. So when the clubs are often founded in the more remote places, it's typically Americans. And it's typically people who have seen, it's probably more likely that they've seen hurling than Gaelic football because they've been intrigued by it. And that's how the club started here. It was some students that were studying at MTSU, and I think they went on a trip to Ireland.
Well, Connor, we are really looking forward to the weekend, and it's great to learn more about the historic roots of St. Patrick's Day. What are you most looking forward to this weekend besides the parade?
So the performance at the Opry, Josh O'Keefe on Saturday night, and then the Country Music Hall of Fame Musician Spotlight, which is open to the public, and that is at 1 p.m. at the Country Music Hall of Fame. So we're really excited to be partnering with both of those. Beyond the parade, we're also working with the Nashville Predators for an Irish Heritage Night, and we're hoping to have some Irish music. They're planning some Irish-themed promotions. And I think it's the Tuesday night, March 24th. And then we also have another special guest. We have another special guest, apart from my wolfhound. We've Clodagh Lawler is coming over from Ireland, and she's a country singer-songwriter, and she's a radio presenter, and she's being brought over with special thanks to Aer Lingus, who have
wow.
direct flights from Nashville to Dublin.
That's right. Those are brand new. I think
That's
they
right.
started last
one
year,
year,
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I do have to say a special thanks to the Irish government who are funding the partnership with the Opry and the Country Music Hall of Fame. So we get funding every year from the Immigrant Support Program, which helps us deliver our event calendar.
Wow. Your dog is eating dinner in the background. I love it. So if people are inspired to get involved, where can they follow you and get involved in Gaelic sports or Irish step dancing? Or
Yeah, we all have websites, and every group is on social media. We have a website, irishnetworknashville.org, and we have so much stuff going on. There's another Irish event at Donaldson Library, just Irish culture, family friendly. I probably will end up speaking about Nashville's Irish history and all the old Irish history of Nashville up until about the 1920s.
Well, this has been really wonderful. I think, if anything, please quit pinching people, folks. That's what I have learned from this episode. So thank you, Connor. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day to all of you as well.
And hey, don't go anywhere. In just a second, we've got a segment sponsored by Cheekwood. Executive producer Whitney Pasterek is chatting with artist Karen Lamont and Sarah Sperling, Senior VP of Museum Affairs at Cheekwood, about their upcoming exhibit, Interventions.
Hey, y'all, it's CityCast Nashville executive producer Whitney Pasterek here with artist Karen Lamont and Sarah Sperling, who's the Senior VP of Museum Affairs at Cheekwood. Sarah, tell us the idea behind Cheekwood's new Interventions art series and when this idea started.
Thank you. Yes, the Intervention series was launched in 2021, and it's a program to activate the museum's period rooms. The series invites nationally and internationally recognized artists to exhibit their contemporary work that engage with the historic spaces within the mansion.
Very cool. Well, Karen, you're the artist behind this intervention, activating that mansion, and it's taking inspiration from the Cheek family and the mansion's surrounding gardens. Can you tell us a little bit about your Nocturne series that's a feature of this? And then I definitely want to hear about the Cloud series because you're bringing the clouds indoors.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The Nocturnes, which are dresses cast in glass, they are invitations to imagine oneself in a different environment. There's a hollow impression of a body on the inside of the dress, and there's no heads or no hands. So these dresses are not a portrait of a specific person, but they're in a way a portrait of everyone. And the first thing I did when I made the Nocturnes was I worked on the color of the glass. It's a very specific color. It's the color of dusk. But dusk is not one color. It's many colors. And as the night goes on, it goes from a very light sort of twilight blue to a very dark blue. And the dresses, as the fabric falls across the body, you see that range of night. They're about that tone, that sort of magical feeling of night. Then, moving on to the clouds, I have been able to, with the help of many scientists and many people who are more technically minded than myself, bring real clouds into the Cheek Mansion. The clouds are positioned in a room with landscape paintings, and we focused on one in particular that has just this spectacular, sublime cloud. You know, clouds are endlessly amazing. But if you talk to the average person, which I consider myself an average person, you would not know that a cloud can weigh up to 17 tons.
What?
I know. Isn't that amazing?
That's insane.
It's insane. It's the water weight of the cloud. And so what I wanted to do was sculpt clouds, very realistic clouds. It's important that it not be a cartoon image of a cloud. These clouds are based on real data that I got from climate scientists. And from those huge data files, I was able to take accurate shapes of clouds. And additionally, we could do things like calculate the weight of the clouds. So my 1-to-1 scale for the clouds is the weight. I think they're 1/8 scale. So 8 times larger would be a 17-ton cloud. But
Wow.
we didn't want to, I know, isn't that cool? But we didn't want to put that inside the Cheek Mansion.
Sure. No sinkholes. No sinkholes.
No sinkholes.
A little
No.
heavy for the mansion.
Exactly. Well, Karen,
Yeah.
it's clear how inspired you are by the natural world. We can even hear it. You're sitting outside on a patio right now, and you've got some beautiful birds tweeting around you. Well, I want to learn a little bit more about your process. You work out of the Czech Republic. Tell me a little bit about how that supports your process of using glass and metal to make these incredibly fluid sculptures.
So in the Czech Republic, there are wonderful historic glass casting workshops. In Italy, I work with a third generation bronze and iron casting family. And I work with a marble carving quarry and workshop that actually did work for Michelangelo. So there's a lot of history to work with in Europe that is really inspiring to me. But I am very careful to emphasize that there's so much technology in my work and so much expertise and tradition. But I don't want that to be people's primary experience. I want them to experience the poetry of the work, in the poetry of the setting, imagining themselves in the Cheek Mansion, in a dress, or at a kimono party, or grabbing a cloud out of the sky and pulling it into the dining room. You know, I want people to have the poetic experience, but appreciate the technology as well.
That's incredible. So you really have brought these techniques from all over the world and throughout art history right here to Nashville. Folks, I got a chance to preview some of these, and they truly are spectacular. And I can't wait for y'all to see this gorgeous art. Karen Lamont and Sarah Sperling, thanks again for being here. Y'all check out cheekwood.org to learn more about interventions. We'll have that link for you in our show notes as well, so you're just a click away. Thanks for listening, and y'all, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
That's all for today here on CityCast Nashville. And don't forget, you can support this show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Nashville neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell your friends? Rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our CityCast Nashville newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Toodles!